But that's pretty much where I was thinking.
king and his men stole the queen from her bed.
Touchdown!
Bound her in her bone.
Jones takes it
The seas be ours, and by the powers where we will roam.
What is good, Raider Nation? Welcome back to yet another episode of our Raiders Live News Talk. I'm joined by my friends Dustin and Ray. Say what's up, everybody.
Salute everybody. Happy Monday.
Salute Raider Nation. Salute to the chat, the panel. Salute to all the mods out there. Appreciate all you guys stopping by on Monday, man. Appreciate everybody.
Facts, yeah. As always, thank you to the members of this panel for showing up. Thank you to the mods in the chat for holding it down. We wouldn't be able to do the show without you guys, as always. And last but not least, thank you to our viewers for watching and commenting along with us as we begin the show. We got another great one for you guys, as always. Just a quick reminder before we do get started, our YouTube chatbot, which is called the Nightbot, in just a couple short minutes, we'll be posting various links related to us here at DSR in the comments section. So if you guys wouldn't mind throughout the broadcast, especially in a couple minutes, just keep an eye out for those various links to be posted by the chatbot. Once again, it's called the Nightbot. So just keep an eye out for it. Just so you can find all those links. And when you do see those links, if you wouldn't mind at your earliest convenience, following them and just tapping in with us on all those platforms that the links send you to, that would be greatly appreciated. And we do thank you guys in advance for that. Out of all those links, we would especially like for you to keep a special eye out for the link to our DSR Discord server. So if you guys haven't already, if you at your earliest convenience, if you are on Discord, if you do have a Discord account, if you wouldn't mind, when you do see that link in the comment section, just following it and tapping in with us and joining us there at that Discord community. We would really we would greatly appreciate that as well. It's a tremendous community, and we have a whole bunch of stuff going on in there. And it's really a great way to bond with a whole bunch of people over a wide variety of topics, not just all things Raiders. We do have a Raiders chat where we talk about all things Raiders, but we also have a general chat where we talk about life in general. We talk about the NFL at large. We talk about other sports leagues like the NBA, NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. We also have fantasy leagues, both NFL and NBA.
Which we're going to be drafting this week. So anybody that's part of any fantasy league that we have, all of them will be drafted this week, just so they know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, with the season, with the NFL season rolling around, as Dustin just said, we are going to be having the draft for our various fantasy football leagues in that Discord. So that's even more motivation to, if you haven't already, join that Discord as soon as possible and just join one of our leagues. It's obviously a great way to compete in a fun way with a bunch of people, as fantasy football always is. And also there will be a $25 reward given to every single winner of all of those fantasy leagues. And there's a $0 buy-in. So that's $0 risk and 100% profit goes to you guys, the winners of the fantasy league. So, like I said, it's a great way to compete with, have fun with competing with others over the internet, as we all know, with fantasy football. So that's another great opportunity and a reason to join our Discord. Outside of that, we also have promotional events in that Discord, such as free giveaways. We have free movie nights, which is a great way to, especially on a weekend night, we all just hop in the Discord and watch a great movie together. That's another fun activity going on in there. We also have various channels dedicated to Raiders content creators on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. We also even have channels dedicated to sports updates across various leagues. So you guys can get up to the minute updates on various sports leagues, and you'll be able to stay up to date on various things going on throughout various sports. So, like I said, if you guys could keep an extra eye out for the link to our Discord server that the Nightbot will be posting in the comments section in just a few short minutes, that would be greatly appreciated. And we do thank you guys for taking the time to join us there at that Discord community. Because, like I said, it's a great community. It's a great way to bond with people, and it's really the heart of what we do here at DSR. And like the link to our Discord server, all these other various links are going to be posted multiple times throughout the duration of this broadcast by the Nightbot. So, like I said, we do thank you guys in advance for checking out all those links, because you will have multiple opportunities throughout this broadcast to check out all those great links. So, like I said, thank you guys in advance for tapping in with us on all those platforms. And so, with all that out of the way, and without further ado, let us begin our show with our first topic. So, obviously, this weekend, the Raiders had their last preseason game of the 2023 off season against the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, it did result in a loss, the first not only of the year but of Josh McDaniels' tenure as Raiders head coach in the preseason. So, obviously, as far as the preseason goes, something we as Raiders fans haven't been used to for a little while now. But obviously, as is the case with all preseason games, nothing really to worry about because it doesn't actually affect your record. This was obviously just an audition for a lot of guys, especially vying for spots on the roster, as well as trying to get some guys, extra reps, especially those who are just getting healthy as we approach week 1 of the regular season. So why don't we just go around the panel and talk about our thoughts on this preseason game, any sort of bright spots we felt stood out in our minds, things we think the team as a whole might be able to improve on. What do you guys think? Oz, you want to start us off?
Like you said, man, I just don't think that it really means much for anything. Like, there's been so many people trying to, I've seen comments in, other people's group chats or whatever, live chats and shit, saying, Graham shit and all this. And people I'm like, dude, and I'm telling everyone, you do realize that's our 4th, 5th, 6th string defense out there, guys, that probably won't make the roster, might not even make the practice squad. Because on offense, we had Aiden O'Connell and a couple of guys out there. The only guys I could see on defense that had any snaps at all that are definitely making the team is guys like Chris Smith or obviously Tyree Wilson. But outside of that, most of the guys on that fucking thing aren't even making their roster, in all honesty. I don't think even Isaiah Polamalu is going to make the roster. I think we're going to only keep if we keep 5 safeties, but I think we keep 4, but we'll see. I think team has played better than fucking Polamalu throughout the whole process, which is actually a surprise even to me because I originally wanted the team more off the team, but he brings value in special teams and he's a half decent backup strong safety. So, and the other thing I have to notice that some people make a mistake of is Chris Smith was actually a free safety. Not a strong safety. Chris Smith is going to be the backup to Morig, whereas Epps will be the strong safety, and then team will probably be the backup to him. That being said, though, most of the guys out there, Masterson's probably another one that will make the team, but even he's not even probably top 3 in the linebackers. Maybe he's 3rd at best. It's not a top 2 guys. It's not as 2 starters though. Masterson would be lucky to be the 3rd guy in the depth chart and linebacker that he played. But like I said, most of the guys out there, it doesn't really mean shit at the end of the day. It's definitely not the same defense we played the 49ers and the Rams with. Even the Rams game had less of the starters out there than what we had in the 49ers game, honestly. Anyway, I'll let you guys say your piece. But that's pretty much, to me, it doesn't really mean anything. It was just a way to kind of filter out who's going to get cut and who's going to make the practice squad and who might be the 4th Oh, not even the fourth, probably like the fifth or sixth guy on the roster.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know,
Right. Yeah.
the
Exactly. Yeah. I
backup
mean.
of the backup of the backup, basically. Right, if you look at it that way,
Right.
it's pretty much the backup of the backup of the backup. So yeah.
Right. So yeah. So obviously, first and foremost, as has been the case throughout the preseason, obviously, not just with the Raiders, with pretty much every other team in the National Football League, we've been dealing with and we've been seeing guys who are relatively down deep in the depth charts of their respective positions. So that being the case, we obviously have not seen marquee talent for the most part, at least throughout this preseason. So, as far as that goes with respect to the Raiders, I would say the biggest story, at least as far as this game is concerned, was the secondary. For whatever reason, was just not able to have any kind of answer for the likes of Will Greer and his passing attack. And as you mentioned, Ozzy, I mean, a lot of these guys, are probably not going to see the light of day if they don't get cut for that matter, which obviously remains to be seen for sure, given that the Raiders still have to make a lot of cuts before the final deadline to reach that 53-man mark on their roster. So, so in general, yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, especially in the defensive secondary, um, it seemed to me maybe schematically, it seemed to me they were playing a lot of zone, which obviously um, wasn't working, right? I mean, obviously, Will Greer was able to find, the sort of um, the vulnerabilities in that zone and march his team down the field 4 different times, all for touchdowns. So
It's so
and
nice
also
for
a
us.
field goal. So yeah, I mean, as far as individuals go, the only thing that might give you some concern is, obviously Amik Robertson, who did play a lot on Saturday. I don't think he played terribly, but there were at least a couple plays where, I think he definitely could have played better than he should have, especially when it came to, unfortunately, not being long enough, not being tall enough. Um, to get around receivers to sort of, defense passes. So obviously, he I think is going to be a guy to watch as far as is he going to get cut? Is he going to be kept? And maybe the fact that he did play as much as he did is a bad sign for him as far as remaining with this team. So um, I think he's definitely a player to watch. Especially through this last crucial week of the coaching staff, excuse me, having to determine, these last final roster cuts. But, other than that, like I said, I mean, it's really just a matter of focusing on the positives, who will definitely be beneficial or who could be beneficial to the real um, varsity roster of the Raiders, if you will. The actual week one roster. And so as far as that goes, I definitely thought that guys like Christian Wilkerson, for example, the chemistry that he's had, especially with Aiden O'Connell, as well as the numbers that he's been able to put up on a multi-game basis at this point, to me suggests that he would definitely be a guy that I think the Raiders have to definitely keep first of all, and more importantly, integrate into their offense throughout the regular season. I definitely think he could be an underrated weapon for this offense. So, like I said, definitely some bright spots, some guys to keep an eye on as far as maybe getting cut. So we'll have to see how this last week of training camp progresses. Ray, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't really get to watch the game like that. I mean, I
Mhm.
saw like snippets of it, but I
Right.
mean, I think um before I get onto the topic of the game, I want to say that I think people's intentions or people's like game like time during like term like when the game was like live and stuff or like beforehand,
Mhm.
I think people were more so just happy the fact that it was a great day in Raider Nation that Josh Jacobs is back and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I feel like they were
Right.
more worried about him playing more than us playing a fucking preseason game, if I'm being honest. But
Right.
other than that, stick to the game. I saw little snippets of it. I heard that obviously we didn't play the best. They let Will Greer have a game. even
Right.
though he's going to get cut regardless.
Right.
And like how you guys brought up, they are like six stringers or
Right.
fifth, six stringers playing in the game. Secondary didn't play so well, but if there's something that I want to talk about, and I know that he'll improve on, is how the little snippets we saw of Tyree Wilson. One of the plays that I wanted to talk about in question is where that one play where he was out to the outside and then immediately just bullied that tackle inside and just got into the quarterback's face. Just he got very lucky that he got out. But I'm saying that's something he can improve on. And we're showing that even though people were judging him because of the injury and stuff like that, wasn't able to show up until 2 weeks ago against the Rams. It shows that he's showing improvement. He still has the dog in him, and he's also good in the tackle spot. I saw him in the inside when he got a run stop. He shows snippets of himself, and so I want to say that that's some good stuff. I'm happy to see that I feel as of right now we've made the right pick. I want to say that confidently because the way that he's fit in the system. And the looks that we've gotten, somebody he just friggin' that tack. I want to go back to that play. The way he just dogged that tackle, the way he just he went burst off the speed, got inside. The tackle was off balance, immediately just shoved him to the quarterback. That's some crazy shit, dude. Nobody was getting at him like that, and that energy is just ignites, bro. It shows that they're making moves. Everybody's playing great, so I don't really care. No, you go ahead.
Oh, so just to piggyback off what you're saying, yeah, that's something that I wanted to see from Wilson pretty much from the get-go because I kept saying when we drafted him, the way I see that if we do a NASCAR package, the way I see it is Chandler Jones, then Wilson, then maybe Young or whoever else is the other DT, and then Max on the other side.
What's up, bro? Appreciate
it. The thing is, he's got that kind of raw power that he can, like you saw in that game, that he can play DT. He can pull guys over.
That's the thing. That's what I like about how he's rotational, dude. And the thing is that when people were looking at him his measurements, dude, this guy is people were comparing him to Myles Garrett, but this dude at any
he's better than Myles Garrett in the versatility side of things. Myles Garrett is a pure pass rusher. He's not in the sense he's better than him overall, but I'm saying his versatility because Myles Garrett doesn't.
His athleticism, everything when they saw his stats and what he how tall he is, what his wingspan, stuff like that, they were saying
he's Max,
this guy was bigger than Myles, bro. This guy is a dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's bigger than Myles, but he has a wingspan like Max. But even his wingspan is actually bigger than Max's. So you can imagine how wide his wingspan is if it's bigger than Max's. Because Max is that's why they call Max a condor because his wingspan is fucking big.
Exactly.
But the thing is, even Max is a pure rusher from the outside. I don't really see Max playing inside the way I can see Tyree playing inside.
Max the thing about I was gonna say is that Max is I feel like Max is more of the versatile guy. He's more of the guy say for example if
he's an outside linebacker / DN
exactly They originally he was a defensive end, then they moved him to outside linebacker.
That's what I mean. They kind of use him like Khalil Mack in my opinion with Max.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the play that you're describing, Ray, is the same one that we all saw. Definitely reposted all over Twitter. Somebody, in fact, made the comment that Tyree could potentially be the perfect kind of complement to Max Crosby in the sense that that very play that I think you're talking about, where he definitely showed sheer speed as well as strength. For talking about physical tools, pretty much just bull rushed the tackle, and then discarded him immediately. Across the other side of the line. Wasn't able to get the sack, but was definitely had a pressure. And so the point made by this guy that I saw reposted the play said that Max would definitely finish up a play like that. So if we're talking about a sidekick to Max Crosby, which is obviously something that this team has been trying to figure out, for the past couple of years, right? Go back to a couple of years ago in 2021, you had Yannick Ngakoue, 10 sacks or 10 and a half sacks, whatever it was. Definitely good in the pass game, but a lot of people had issues with, his performance when it came to the run game. And then obviously this past year, Chandler Jones obviously had his struggles. So, now we're looking to Tyree Wilson to, potentially be maybe the perfect kind of complement to Max Crosby, because as we know, Max Crosby is going to, perform at the highest level, but he obviously can't do it alone. So if we
That's
do
the
get
thing.
stuff like that from Tyree, like I said, just in terms of pressures, if you can, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be able to do that, what he did to, starting tackles in the NFL, but if you can just get pressures, collapse the pocket, just make it that much harder for the quarterback to find his receiver. Max can do his he can clean it up, right? So and it doesn't matter who gets the sack; it just matters that the sack is made, right? Because obviously, as we know, sacks are huge when it comes to defense. So
Exactly. And I was gonna say, Jeff, I feel like this year with our base 4-3, I think I like how we would have Crosby on one end and we have Tyree. But the thing about this is that back to what I said earlier, and I think Ozzy said that as well, is that like that one play where he was in the tackle spot and he stopped the run. I think him and Chandler can be very intertwined. They can both rotate between those
mhm.
spots. So I mean, I honestly I think we just got to see who's the better run stopper. I mean, obviously, I feel like Chandler's he's there as a veteran, like he probably could do that. But
He's
I'm saying
there for now, but I don't think long term he would be better than Tyree.
and yeah, I understand. That's the thing, and we've noticed that when we got Chandler, right, he was able to generate the pressure that we all thought he was supposed to bring. Obviously what he was doing in Arizona, we thought he was going to do here. He wasn't able to do that. So that's what I'm saying as a rotational piece. Him and Tyreek can swap spots in there because
Just to
obviously Crosby's going to generate pressure on one side, and those two can really switch spots. It really depends on how they really play it.
like piggyback off what you're saying, though, I see more Chandler as like a DN slash outside linebacker. I don't see him playing inside like the way I can see it with Wilson.
Hmm.
I just feel like they're two different players. I think Chandler's more like Max, like a outside linebacker slash DN, whereas Wilson can pretty much line up at all three. Like
Hmm.
he can mostly line up as DT DN, but he can also probably play a little bit outside linebacker if he's asked to.
Hmm. And the thing about Chandler is that he's kind of Tyree in a way where he would try to put his whole body in front of the tackle and try to push him back. That's what I've noticed out of Chandler's plays, that he sometimes he tries to hit him with a swim move or something like that, but more so I think he's just trying to get into the tackle's way. So that's why I mean, like, if he wanted to, he could just try. If they wanted to try it, they can move him down the end and try to move pressure in the guard that Tyree has a one-on-one with the tackle. What he did against Dallas, and then Crosby comes in and swoops it, bro.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, because pressures, they are somewhat of an underrated stat, I would say. As far as um, obviously they don't mean as much as sacks, especially from an individual standpoint. But when you think about football as a team sport, especially if you think about the defensive line, or even guys, other defenders blitzing off the edge or whatnot, or through the A gap. If you're able to get pressures, right, that just means you're corrupting the pocket. So that's just that much more of a headache, for the quarterback. To say nothing of maybe you're forcing him to the other, another pass rusher, another guy already in the backfield. So, I mean, like I said, just like with offense, right? It doesn't matter, how many passing touchdowns your quarterback has, as long as the drive ends in a touchdown. It doesn't really matter how, for example, I mean, Max Crosby, I just saw a stat that said over the past several years, he's led the league in pressures. Um, you know, maybe he, just has a bunch of pressures this year, and it's somebody else who's getting all the sacks, So it's
Yeah,
when you think
speaking
about
of
football, the team sport. Yeah, go for it.
so speaking on that, and this is the point I'm going to make. Like, don't get me wrong, Miles Garrett is nice, but Max is better. Like, because I think sometimes they look at just the sack
Tough.
total. Like,
Yeah,
but if you compare Miles Garrett and Max Crosby in the run game, it's not even fucking close. Like, Max had 30 more tackles and stops in the run game than him in the season. So that's big. And that's gone off like PFF premium stats. Whereas Max had 15 sacks, and I think Garrett had 18 or something. So he only had 3 more sacks, so maybe pressures were about the same. But the run game was where Max just blows Miles Garrett out the water. And probably the pressures, I think he had a little bit more than Max, because even Bosa, I compared Garrett and Bosa to Max. Bosa had 4 more sacks and a bit more pressures than Max. But in the run game, Max smashes Bosa in the run game. Both of those dudes are good pass rushes, but then they're miles behind Max in the run game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once again, right? If you're a tackle for loss is just sacking the running back, right? So
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So if it's a loss on the play, then that's obviously a win for the defense, right? So, I mean, all these things, obviously, when you're talking about sacks, when it comes to an award like Defensive Player of the Year, obviously you're going to look at that the most because that's an individual stat. But like I said, I mean, football at the end of the day is a team sport. So, there are certain things that don't always show up on the stat sheet that still make a difference when it comes to, even if you think of the defense as an entire unit, there's still things that matter that individuals contribute to that entire defense. Like pressures, I mean, tackles for loss is definitely a stat too, and it should be considered when it comes to individual.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think they do in some ways, because I don't think they rate the fact that okay, yeah, sack and everything is nice, right? But if say it's first down and you get a 3-yard loss, tackle for a loss, that now puts them in a definite passing situation. At that point, you kind of then can dictate on defense what they're going to do. So I think sometimes stopping the run or getting a tackle for loss is way underrated more than what it should be compared to sacks and stuff. And I feel that's why when Max had that year where he had the most pressures, he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, because that's the same year he had way more tackles for loss and shit than Bosa and Garrett did. So I feel they don't rate that high enough sometimes. They don't rate how that can kind of dictate a game when you've got a guy that's constantly good against run and setting the edge. Because it's not just the tackles for lost either. It's setting the edge so they can't bounce shit outside. It kind of makes the offense you're facing more one-dimensional. And that could be a big factor in a game, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And, like I said, I mean, obviously as fans of the team, as opposed to, just, fans of individual players, honestly, we should be looking more, more about the stats of the team as a whole, the stats as a defensive unit as a whole. So, whether we have a lot of sacks, whether, whatever the case may be, that somebody might like to point out as opposed to another metric, as long as they're not giving up a lot of points, right? That's just what matters at the end of the day, right? Giving the offense a chance to go out and win football games, right? Because that's ultimately what's going to matter at the end of the day, wins versus losses. So, whether this team gets a lot of sacks, whether they have a lot of turnovers, whatever, however it works, right? There's so much that goes into a defense as a whole being great, that, if somebody wants to rate Myles Garrett over Max or Joey or Nick Bosa over Matt, I personally am not putting too much stock into that, because, like I said, football's a team sport. And even as a defensive line is concerned, like I said, if even if Max is the one to get all the pressures and Tyree is the one to clean it up, at the end of the day, if you're effective as a defense, that's to me all that matters. So obviously, it'd be great if Max could win some sort of great individual accolade, such as a Defensive Player of the Year, to say nothing of another All-Pro, and being named to another All-Pro team. Like I said, it's just individuals versus team statistics, I would say. Dustin, was there anything on that?
To what, the game?
Yeah, just recap in general.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's over. That's what I know. And the preseason's over. I don't know. I mean, to be all honest, man, I mean, that game just had all backup players in there. I mean, like I said, Long got worked in that game. Johnson got worked in that game. Shelley got worked in that game. Robinson got worked in that game. Rotten's probably going to be the starter. Harron's trash as fuck. Wilkerson probably going to make the team if not practice squad. Sims is probably going to make the team practice squad. Paulo looked really good. I mean, he's looked good the whole entire deal. Smith didn't even look that good. I mean, he was getting beat around back there. I mean, I even wrote there was a play, dude, and we had them in there 30 on the 4th down, and they got the 1st down. I mean, like that shit should speak for itself. These fools literally went for it on their 30-yard line in their section and got the 1st down. So, I mean, like I said, Thomas looked good, dude. I mean, that guy looks like he's a little machine. So, I mean, that's a guy people are going to have to. Yeah, people are going to have to watch out for Drake Thomas for sure. I mean,
he's making the team, I reckon.
Yeah, I think Drake Thomas has a good chance to battle with Masterson over there. But again, I think they'll use him around in different formats, different packages. But he probably will get a lot of playing time. The little halfback Williams, I mean, at the end of the day, he made a few good plays. He looked good. Mayer looked good. I mean, Teamer, 100%. I've said from the beginning when he came here, I thought he was going to get cut, but he's most definitely going to make the team.
Yeah, that's what I was like you, but I said he was going to get cut, but then he showed up this preseason.
Yeah, he's going to make the team. I mean, Johnson got burnt out there, dude. I mean, to be honest, dude, I mean, he looked like he was getting beat around every single play he was doing. He was just getting beat on, dude. Always under, always outside of the player. He was just getting ragdolled around out there. So I don't think Johnson's going to get there. Teamer through the whole preseason. He looked like he was on top of his shit all the time. He was always in the plays, always right there. He batting plays down over people, even when the second and third stringers were out there. I've said Paul Malu, man, he's come on pretty good. So, I mean, if you're just looking at Epps, Teamer, Paulo, Morik as your 4, and then Smith as the 5 because he was drafted, I think Johnson and Grant are most definitely out of that deal. I mean, the cornerbacks, I mean, Shelley, dude, I mean, he looked like shit. I mean, Long looked like shit. Robinson, I mean, if we're just going to go off of who had better game of shit, then I'll pick, obviously I'd probably just have to roll with Meek Robinson just because he's had upside over the last few years of playing with us. So, I mean, that's kind of how I would look at that. I mean, Webb, he's played good ball the whole time out there. So, I mean, I'd roll with it. Bennett, fucking Hall. I mean, like I said, I mean, I think there's still a lot on the defense that's going to have to be figured out. I mean,
I think we sign more players, to be honest.
I think they already know who their defense is. I think they already know because I think people, I keep seeing people's rosters, but I don't see very many people that have faced him on there. And I think like a lot of people are counting him out. He's got a 2-year contract, dude. The odds are, as long as his injury isn't too big, he's most definitely going to be on the roster.
Agreed.
So that's the thing there is like where people keep sitting on, they're like, oh, it's gonna be like Shelly. I mean, let's be real, Shelly has good balls, but at the same time, he gets beat on like Robinson on the outside. I mean, he gets beat on, he gets toyed with. Do they? You know, this is the thing I have an issue with is like if they get a play here and there, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, you know, and people are talking it up, or dude passes downfield, deep downfield, and he overthrows the guy, and he's step for step. If Will would have put that ball on Mark, dude would have caught the ball right there in the sideline. That'd probably been a touchdown for that dude because
Agreed. Yeah,
dude on the outside, the guy's on the outside of him, running down towards the end zone, and he's well out of position to begin with if it was over the top of him to begin with. So for me, I don't know if I'm like hype up Shelly too much. For me, I mean, when you look at it, you have Hobbs that you know is going to be there. You have Peters that you know is going to be there. Bennett you know is going to be there.
Face on if he's not injured.
Face on if he's not injured, and then you're going to look to your last dude, which is going to be Shelly, Long. I think it'll probably be, in my opinion,
David was a bit.
I mean, Hall and Webb, dude, is guys I would probably invest into. I mean, Long, even in the play on the left side in the beginning of the game, when they tried to push down the field, that was again another overthrow play right there. And if he didn't look up, like he never looked up the whole entire time. So if the ball was in any way and he tried to get up in there, they would have probably called him for the pass interference to begin with because he never even looked up to recognize on the ball or anything. And I keep thinking about like the Jets game, dude, where Aaron Rodgers kind of suckered that damn corner right off the get-go because when they were down there on the end zone, Rodgers, the second that they got off the line, Rodgers already knew he was throwing it to dude, and he just threw it right at the back of the corner's head. So the wide receivers stared at him the whole entire time, and this corner ain't never looked back one fucking time, and he's looking at him, anticipating to make the play. And I'm like, bro, you're anticipating he threw the ball up and coming. He already threw the fucking ball. Like, dude goes like this. It was right there, like bam. So I don't know, man. I don't like guys that don't look to identify or play off the player. I mean, I think that's not a good trait for somebody. So for me, like I said, Faceham's shown when he was here before, dude, that he can play in the man. And salute C-Dub. He can play in the man, and he can play it pretty well and defend. So for me, I would still take Faceham over all those dudes. And Webb has shown that he can play pretty well. So Webb's shown to play pretty well.
I'll go with the young player because, like, you got Marcus Peters, obviously, Jacorian Bennett, Hobbs. That's 3 already. And then Facehamn, that makes 4. So really, you only need like 2 more dudes, and I'm definitely
I think like if you're gonna just go to the starter for the 5th player, I just think it's gonna be Robinson all the way, unless there was something in Hall that showed up, which I highly doubt it. Yeah. But I think Robinson's probably going to be that 5th guy, and it's just because of the familiarity, being in the system, things of those factors.
Top corner, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, so I think like in Webb's gonna probably go back to the practice squad, which I think he should be on like one of the main players out there. I mean, and then Hall probably be the other guy because I mean they've already released Cosby, but he can come back to the practice squad. Hearn sucks, dude. He's like garbage as hell.
I was gonna ask you if you had to pick, who would you pick over Sam Webb and Tyler Hall? I'd probably go Sam Webb. That's me.
I mean, I haven't seen enough of either of the 2 players to. I haven't seen enough of either of the 2 players to be like, if I was gonna pick, I'd go Sam Webb just off of height, build, who he is, and then the problem is like I know that Hall has good stat line. I know he had good passer. Like they couldn't pass on him last year. He actually held the 3rd or the 4th best completion under X amount of plays, but like the thing about Webb is he's got the build. Man, when I first seen Webb out there, dude, he looked like a linebacker. Like he looked like he had a little bit of different build to him. So
yeah, great.
I don't know. I think like in the linebackers and DNs and DTs, that's going to be a tough one in there too, because there's still a lot of good players in there. Then I still feel like you got drafted players that are going to favor some other people. It's tough, man, because I don't know if they load up on the D tackles, man, to be honest. Like, do they load up on D tackles? And I think they're only going to roll with 4 DNs, man. Like, I think they only roll with 4 DNs, which is going to be Max, Jones.
Roll with 5 and 5.
I think they'll roll with four DNs with Kuntz, Jones, Wilson, and Max. Plan will go to the practice squad, and then Tarlis, I don't even know if he's even done anything. The DTs is where I think they're going to do like 5 or 6. Like, that's where I feel like they'll probably do 5 or 6 DTs, because you have Tillery, Bly Nichols, Farrell, Young, fucking Jade. I think you can do 5 or 6 easy in the DTs, even Jenkins, So I can see him going more heavy in DT than DNs for sure.
Yeah, I'll just check I put a
because you have linebackers. You have linebackers like Thomas. Thomas is going to make the squad. He's a fucking rusher, outside rusher. So he can most definitely become another DN in the game. So I don't think they're going to go with anybody. I think it's going to be those 4, and then I think you're going to get dude like Thomas that's going to be coming off the edge. You'll get Bernie that'll come off the edge. So that's kind of where I think over there. But
I'm just saying who I had. Let me see.
I think a lot of guys.
I think if we keep 5. If we keep 5, because he did have some production in the preseason, it's maybe Isaac Rochelle. Other than that, it's Max Chandler, Malcolm Quince, and
I think Rochelle. I forgot. Rochelle is probably most definitely going to make the team because.
Yeah, so that's why I actually ended up with 11 D-line because it was so hard. I wanted to keep it to 10, but then I'm like, if you keep it to 10, you have to cut either a good defensive tackle or DN that should be making the roster. So maybe they keep on doing this year.
The way that Rochelle played, he might be the 4th and Malcolm might be out.
Yeah, like you never know.
Because Rochelle came in, he played, and then he didn't play again.
The possibility
it seemed like they pretty solidified where he was going to be at. And he brought pressure from game 1 with the Niners. He brought pressure from day 1.
If Young because the other thing I'm worried about, if Young or Jade Severa go to the practice squad, someone might poach him.
Yeah, but see, I think what they're going to do is they're going to have the 6 veteran players that'll go on there, so on. I think they're going to protect certain people. They're going to protect certain people like that. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I said if you go 4 DNs with 5 or 6 DTs, you're not going to have to. You're probably not going to have to protect very many people to begin with because.
That's what I was going to do originally, but then I actually was trying to Google about the protection thing, and we might not be able to do that. Just because I thought it was you could cut them from the 53 and then they're automatically protected, but. Anyway, this is what it said when I was reading about it.
They can't. They have to go through. If you return a player back to the squad, he has to go through the waiver, and then if no one claims him through the waiver, then he can return back to the squad and be protected. Exactly. But that's if you're altering. That's if you're altering players from the practice squad back to the game, and that's how a lot of people do get poached, is them returning back to the squad after having a good game, so
yeah, exactly. And then because the thing is here when it says on the waiver thing that I was reading is where is it? I'm just scrolling down to the actual so it says how see that's what people thought it was a way to protect a player without them being exposed to waivers, but it says however this has instead been designed so that teams can protect players at positions where there may be a short week leading up to a game. You allocate these 4 players to be protected every Tuesday. So Mondays can essentially be a free-for-all in terms of poaching from other teams' practice squads. So basically, every week to week, Mondays, you can still poach whoever before they have a chance to be protected. So they're only protected from the Tuesday. So they're not even protected.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's got to be deals on that because there's been rookie players
Yeah,
that's been
they had to be on the 53-man roster.
There has
and then
to
on
be
Tuesday you put them on the. They still take a roster spot technically.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is like if Wagner goes straight to the practice squad and they put protection on him and he never makes it to the to a game, nobody can take him. They can't touch him.
I don't think that's what I mean. I don't think it actually works. Like that's what I thought it worked like, but I don't think it actually works like that. They have to actually be on the active 53-man roster, and then on Tuesday you can put them on the protection.
Yeah,
because that's when the deadline is passed for other teams to poach them. So technically, even if you want to protect a player, they have to be on the active 53 first before they can. If you're worried about them being poached, I mean.
Yeah, that's why I think with like I said, I think with me when it gets to that.
Because in my original roster, I had Dalton Wagner and McLendon Curtis on the practice squad, but then when I found that out, I had to change it because I'm like, fuck no, if that's the case, they'll get poached.
Yeah, but only if they're playing.
Oh, it's not just but that's what I mean. Like it's not an outright protection where you can stop other teams from actually being able to get them. Not necessarily on your 53-man roster before you put them on the protection, if you get what I'm saying. So technically, they have to be on the 53 to start with.
If I could, I would just say that, like, you know, as Dustin said, there are obviously going to be guys that they're going to protect, like, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you can rotate it week to week anyway, week to week.
Yeah, right. Like any head coach or front brass, whatever you want to call them, every single one in the NFL understands the risks of putting players on the practice squad. So certainly when you're talking about, you know, Nesta, Jade Silvera, I mean, that was one of their draft picks this year. They're not going to risk putting him.
Byron Young's another one too.
And that's why I think he's going to be a player because, look, when you look at the guy that's going to most likely going to be a protected year player, it's going to be Wagner because Illuminor and Munford are going to be the starting right tackles for backup. Wagner isn't going to have a place. He's young, but he has a lot of upside. So they're going to protect him from day one. When he gets cut, as long as no one picks him up through there, they're going to protect him the second that he comes back out from day one. So nobody will even get to touch him at all through the whole year because he's never going to go back to the squad. He'll just be throughout the whole entire season. A guy like Jade, I've said it. That's why I was literally just saying you're going to have Tillery, Bly, Farrell, Young, Jade, and then probably even Jenkins or Butler. So you're probably going to have 5 or 6 active all year round DTs. I think the DTs, because the way that they're going to try to bring the pressure, bring their players, I think that's how they're going to roll with it. Because at the end of the day, your linebackers are going to be Spillane, Diablo, Masterson, probably Thomas, and maybe you got Bernie, and man, maybe even Bolton. I mean, Bolton. So that could be 5 or 6 there with dudes returning to the practice squad.
Yeah, I got 5 linebackers, 6 DTs, and 5.
I think 5 DNs, but I think one of the players are going to go back to the practice squad. Maybe 2. So it might be 6 players DN, but 2 going back to the practice squad. I mean, like I said, Kuntz can probably get cut for Rochelle. I mean, if you're just being honest, I mean, if there's 4 active, I think they seen a lot out of Rochelle right away because I never really seen the guy play again after he did what he did in game 1. And
I think it's a sign that if they put him out
right
there,
away.
Yeah, I think it's a sign if you didn't see him really against the Rams or.
And Kuntz got pulled for Wilson. So if I'm looking at that, they had Patrick Willis they had Willis out there on. I said Patrick Willis. They had Willis out there on the field with Kuntz at the same time, and they pulled Kuntz off and put Wilson in there. And then to me, that makes me kind of feel like, damn, did they feel like Kuntz has already solidified what they think he was doing, or did they say we already seen enough of him and move on? You know, like that's the kind of things I'm thinking. I think I hope it's that they've seen enough of him and move on. Y'all think Kuntz going to make I hope he does. He's one of my favorite players, so I hope he does for sure. But
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
like I said, there's still a lot to be looked at here, dude. I mean, you got a lot of good guys that can be up on the front, and I've spoke on this all season long in the off season that you have linebackers. If you run 6 linebackers, Thomas and Bernie can easily adapt out with the DN, easily for pass rushers. So that's why I don't think you need a lot of pass rushers, because let's be real, Max runs damn near every single snap he can. Max ain't going to come out the fucking game. Max wants to run every single game snap that he can. So I don't think having 5, 6 dudes over there are going to make sense for rotation. I think 4 dudes, like Max can come out a play or 2, then you're going to have Kuntz, or you're going to have Rochelle, or like I said, Wilson. And see, the thing that, again, Wilson adds to the linebacker and the freaking DT. And I don't know if they're going to try to put him out at linebacker. He could become a liability for sure, unless he's just pure rushing off the linebacker. But he kind of got a little blind side to him in that shit for real. So, but again, we never know. We'll see how this season picks up. But like I said, there's a lot to be done here. What, by tomorrow, huh? Because they have to cut down the team by tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
why I kind of put my 53 out there, but the only thing I'm questioning with my 53 is whether Hoyer makes the team on the actual active roster or as a practice squad.
Hoyer making the team for sure. Fucking douchebag ass.
Well, the way why I thought about it this way, because Hoyer is there to take, because I think this is something they might do that not people.
He'll go to the practice squad. I think that Aiden's going to be the 2, but I think
that's what I'm saying. But this is what they would do if they're smart to save a roster spot and whatever. They put him on the 53 for like 1 week or something, because apparently in order to make him that 3rd quarterback eligible or whatever, that doesn't count on the thing on game day, they have to be part of the active 53 or some shit. But I think another way is you just don't activate Hoyer.
I don't think Josh is going to do that. I spoke on that already. I don't think Josh is going to do that shit. Josh has spoke on it, and he's emphasized, like, he just thinks that's a fluke shit, dude. Like, I don't think he's going to run. I think he's going to run three quarterbacks total. Like, I think that's what he's going to do, 3 quarterbacks total.
I don't see the need. It'd probably be Aiden and Jimmy, but
no, I mean like Aiden and Jimmy as your starters, and then Hoyer on the practice squad.
Okay, total. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like you'd have 2 on the active roster, and then you'd have Hoyer be the practice squad quarterback. I think that's why they moved on from Garbage, because they can use Hoyer as a practice squad quarterback to teach the thing in practice.
Plus, Chase can come back as a practice squad player.
Who else is going to? Because Hoyer already said, well, first off, who the fuck would sign Hoyer anyway if you cut him and bring him back? Nobody.
I mean,
and
I don't know. I'm thinking about
it. He won't play for anyone else, though. He won't play for no one else. He said that. He said he's not going to play for anyone else. So
yeah, but I think thinking about it right now is like Chase can be a massive. He can most definitely be a practice squad candidate. And if that's the case, I can see Hoyer getting cut because they're not going to have 2 quarterbacks on it. So, I mean, that's a tough one there. Hoyer either on the practice squad and they move on from Chase, or if they feel like Chase showed enough in there, then they're going to move on from Hoyer. So, I mean, that's just however they want to fucking go. But if I'm just going to go off of what I think, Hoyer's under 2-year contract where he's known the system, he's there for guidance. I think he has more of the chance of coming back in the practice squad than Chase Garbers does.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if no one else picks up Chase, he could come back. But what I'm saying is most likely Hoyer is going to be the practice squad quarterback. It would make too much sense.
Yeah, and then like the wide receivers, I was thinking Cole was going to make the team, maybe Dorsett, but I think it's going to be Wilkerson and Sims, like I've been saying the whole time. I didn't think Wilkerson was going to make it, but this fucking guy, he's just been balling out the whole damn time. The whole entire.
I got 6.
Adams, Mayer, Renfro, Carter, Tucker are going to be the main five.
Wilkerson
then,
was my 6.
I think that's 5 for there. And then Sims and Wilkerson would go to the practice squad. So
I reckon we might keep Wilkerson, make him the 6th receiver, because I feel like he's just too valuable. Like,
you
he's
never
also
know.
good.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking he could be the 6th, or Sims can be the 4th tight end on the deal because Horsted went to IR. So I don't know how they want to. I don't know how they'll do that. But I think Wilkerson most definitely needs to make it and stay on the team because the fucking guy is a pretty good damn wide receiver.
Honest,
I mean, I was literally looking at his numbers compared to Joey Galloway during the game. And he has fucking damn near spitting numbers with him, and he only been playing the preseason versus this dude's all, what did he have, 39 receptions, 425, 485 or something like that in yards, and then 4 touchdowns. This dude had what, he had in just what, because he was just in the Cowboys game, he was fucking, what, 13 of 10?
122.
122. Then
Yeah,
he's had, like, what is he, 180 in yards, a touchdown.
I think 190 something, I think. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, like, the guy's got some pretty good yards already, and that's why I'm just saying, like, he most definitely should find himself on the team. The problem is you would have to go to 6. I mean, you would have to go to 6. You put him on there.
6, yeah. That's what I'm saying. You have to go to 6 because he's not beating anyone else out. Except for maybe Sims. So
yeah, and you're gonna have practice squad players. I mean, I just don't think Dorsett did enough to stay on the team. I don't think Cole did enough to stay on the team. They've already cut Turner. Lacey's already been released.
Because I think what I did is that I got 3 tight ends and 4 running backs in Jacob, so that's 5. Whereas last year we had 6 running backs if you include Jacob. This year I reckon we carry 4 on Jacob. That way we can have the extra receiver.
I don't know. Like I said, I think the preseason game was just a bunch of looking at the old people going to be on the fucking team is how I look at it. You know,
the way I even look at it was now we get to see who makes a practice squad and who just gets cut and completely. That's the way I was looking at that game, especially on defense. Like you could tell they put out the backups of the backups out of there pretty much from the get-go. Like,
they got to do this by tomorrow.
I'm like, the only defense we're seeing tonight is the dudes that are either going to make the practice squad or get cut. Pretty much. Except for maybe a couple of rookies that they wanted them to get live snaps.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they got a lot to go, man. They still got just, a few hours left, so.
Yeah, I think
the cuts have to be tomorrow, doesn't it? The cuts all have to be tomorrow.
Yeah, it's usually because I think it's what is it, a week after the preseason game or something? The last preseason.
What the final cuts?
Yeah, I think it's like 1 week from the
last game preseason.
Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because tomorrow's what? Tomorrow for you guys is what, Monday?
No, today's Monday.
Oh, so you're in Monday. So for you, it's Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, it'll be Wednesday morning then when they're gonna do it. All right, cool.
Yeah. Right. So it's August 29th.
Yeah.
At 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I'll be checking my phone first thing when I wake up tomorrow. Who the fuck got cut? Let's go. I'm curious to see how close I was to see my mark on my depth chart. Because I think most of them, I got a fair few right, I reckon, but there's a couple that I was like, is Hoyer going to make it on the actual active roster, or is he going to be like the practice squad quarterback? I think that's the one thing I forgot to fucking do is put Hoyer in the practice squad, but I fucked up on that one, but anyway. I've said it here live. I have receipts if anyone wants to ask me later.
Yeah, was there something you wanted to share on your screen?
Oh yeah, Miles. Yeah, I was. No, that was just. I wanted to share like the rule around the protected player thing because I didn't realize this myself until I read it like yesterday. Because I was just googling about it when I was trying to do my depth chart. Hang on, let me see if I can. Can you guys read that? I need to zoom in more.
I can read it.
I can
Maybe
read it, but if you want, you can press the full screen thing at the bottom right.
Oh yeah, I'll try that. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Chestnut checkers, Ray.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. You can predict.
So yeah, the flexibility to stash young. So it actually explains when it says like the however part. From what it's telling me there, on Mondays players can still be poached before they get the protection thing, which that tells me that they had to be on the active roster first. Then you can put them on the practice squad and protect them on the Tuesday each, and that's a week to week thing. So depending depending how your team is like going, where you have injuries and stuff leading up to game day, that's why they got the protected player stuff. Because it's not like you protect 4 players for like the whole year. It's like there's different players that will be protected week to week based on like who we're facing, where we got injuries at, that kind of thing. And because a good thing, like Dustin was saying earlier, is you can protect. I mean, you can even protect veterans, like a certain number of veterans on there. So like,
6 of them.
Yeah, 6 of them. So like, say 1 week we have like we've got 8 O linemen to start with or whatever, but then we have like we need depth somewhere else on the offense. We can put an O lineman on the protection for that week and bring another dude into the roster, and that way, and then bring the other guy back later, kind of thing, like that. And you can kind of like rotate guys in and out of practice squad and active roster week to week. But any guys that you're worried about getting poached, you have to keep them on the 53 all the time, except for just before game day, basically. And then you can protect them for that week, just before game day. Yeah, it's kind of weird how they do it, but I get why they do it that way. It's to stop teams just being able to stash players. And it's probably so that certain players don't just get stashed on practice squads and don't have opportunities to get signed by other teams, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's to prevent that. So you can't just you literally cannot just stash a player for the whole season on the practice squad and protect them that way. Unfortunately, I thought that's what it was at first, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's how it works.
Okay, that's interesting. So if I'm reading this right, so every Tuesday, so I guess to start the season. Well, I don't know.
They had to be on the 53. Yeah, so if before the first week of game week, that whatever guys you're worried about getting poached literally would have to be on your 53-man roster. Because that's why because originally I put McClendon Curtis and Dalton Wagner on practice squad protected. But then I realized that doing that, they're going to get poached before you can put them on the protection. So then I kind of had to change it up, put McClendon Curtis and Dalton Wagner both on the active roster, and change it from seven O linemen to 8. And then I also had to cut a safety, which was Polomel, to make room on the 53. So instead of having 5 safeties, I went with 4 safeties, like that.
So this isn't much of a rule change, right? It's just if you, I don't know why.
It's just it's to help with injuries. Basically, it's to help with injuries. So basically, what would happen, like for example, say 1 week, you got an injury, like you got a couple of receivers that got injuries, right? So you need to pull a wide. You want to pull a wide receiver up from your like say Cam Sims. Actually, better yet, let's say one of our tight ends goes down, right? Because we're saying Cam Sims can play tight end and wide receiver, right? So say one of our tight ends goes down because we've got 3 on the roster, which is Mayer, Hooper, and Cole Fotheringham, right? So say one of them goes down. Say Hooper goes down with an injury. So we need another tight end to come in. So we bring Cam Sims in as that third tight end. And then in order to make room on the roster, we can stick like McClendon Curtis or Dalton Wagner on the protection on Tuesday before the game on the weekend. Then come back to like the end of the game, after the game, we put Cam Sims back on the practice squad and bring Wagner back to the active roster again. If you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, what I don't understand is what about this makes it a special rule, because I don't understand why.
It's not really a special rule. What it does, like you can rotate players. I'll kind of train it again. If we had an injury at for example, like hypothetically, we had an injury at tight end, and we already have Cam Sims on the practice squad, right? What we can then do is you can bring Cam Sims from the practice squad to your active roster, which would initially make it 54. which means you'd have to take someone else off your 53 for that week, like that game week, right? But then to that player that you take off of your 50 to make it from 54 back to 53 can then be protected because he was already on your 53 to begin with.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
that's what makes it different.
And then after the game's over, you put Cam Sims back on the practice squad and your guy that you had protected back on your active roster again.
Yeah, but it won't work like that. When the game's over, he has to pass through waivers on Monday if he plays on Sunday, and if he played on Monday, he'd have to pass on Tuesday. And then if he clears the waiver, then he could go back to the squad and then be protected.
What if you did it after Tuesday and Wednesday?
No, if the game was played on Monday, he would have to go through waivers on Tuesday.
But what I'm saying,
aren't you saying that's the difference in the rule?
Yeah, that's the difference in the rule, though.
Can't protect the player when the game's playing. Can't do that. And if the player reverts back practice squad, if the player leaves the team and goes to if the player leaves the practice squad and goes to the team, and the minute that team's game's over and he reverts back, he has to go through the waiver claim, dude. And then he cannot be protected until after the waiver claim. Once the waiver claim is done.
That's not what I was saying, though. What I was saying is, if you had a guy already on your 53, and then you're switching that guy for a guy that's already on your practice squad.
That's what I just said.
No, what I'm saying is, if you got say we do an initial 53, then you got week 1, we need an extra tight end, so we take a guy off of our 53 and get a guy off our initial practice squad. We switch him over.
He has to clear he would have. I don't even know if you can do that. I mean, where's the guy go on the 53 that's on the team? He'd have to be injured.
Well, they're
go on the practice squad.
You're these 4 players are kind of in like a nether region, if I'm understanding Ozzy
I think
correctly.
That's the rule. I think that's the rule.
You can technically have 57 at one point in the week, like on your roster, because you're protecting those 4 players.
Yeah, I get that, but 53 are only active still. That's why they have them in. That's why you seen Bretton Brown last year, the healthy scratch, and all those dudes. They do that every year. If a player leaves the practice squad and comes to the deal, unless that rule states that it's a player that's underneath it,
because that's what it pretty much says here. Because this is what I was reading.
It's only the players for that week. It's only
that's what I'm saying. So players for that week. So as soon as the
but my point is every single Monday they have to clear back through the waiver. The protected players are going to be the dudes like Wagner that don't go nowhere. He's going to be permanently protected. He's not going to have
That's what I'm
back
saying,
and forth. Those 4 you're talking about, they're only protected for that week. Once they're not needed on the team no more, or be protected there, they have to clear waivers.
I wasn't saying we're protecting Sims. I was saying we're protecting Wagner and McClendon Curtis, but for them to be protected, they had to be on the active roster first. Because it even says it says you can only protect players that have been a part of the 53-man roster.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's like you take them from the 53.
Yeah, I get that, dude. But I get that. But you have drafted players every year that are going to be on the practice squad that are protected the whole entire year. That never even played that game in the fucking game. Period.
But what I'm saying is you can't do that. Like if you put McClendon Curtis.
Well, I know you can do it. I'm not even going to argue that you can do it or not. I know you can do it.
It's right here. Like it says here, right? I'll read it from the top. Initially, this announcement seemed to give teams more flexibility to stash young projects who might not otherwise play, such as draft picks, or who are a year away from contributing, without exposing them to waivers. However, this instead has been designed so teams can protect players out of position where they might be on a short week leading up to a game. You can allocate 4 players every Tuesday, so Mondays can essentially be a free-for-all in terms of poaching from other teams' practice squad.
Like I said, I already know the rules, dude. I mean, I've watched football my whole life.
But what I'm saying is, if you put
They're not saying nothing in that deal I haven't known for the last fucking umpteen years. There's nothing in that deal that they're not saying, and that there's going to be players like Curtis that are not even going to touch the team whatsoever, and they're going to be protected the whole time, and they're not going to go through the clearance on Monday. They're not going to be involved in that because they're not going to ever return from the team. They're just going to be covered throughout the whole year to where people can't come to the roster and poach them off of our team. So that's where that's going to be. Now, if you're playing chess and you're playing chess with other fucking players on the team and you want to keep reverting them back and forth from the practice squad to the regular squad, then you're going to take the risk on every single Monday. Like I said, on Monday, they still will have to clear through waiver. Any player that you bring to protect will still have to go through on Monday. The other players, they're not going to go through that because they're going to be permanently protected throughout the whole entire year. They didn't give $200,000 to Wagner to fucking play, well, let's hope someone doesn't take him on Monday. Like, someone's going to take him right away. You know what I mean? Like, that they would just lose their money right out.
What I'm saying is the loophole is you do it after Monday. You have to do it after Monday. You can't do it before Monday.
You'd only have to do it if he plays.
But what I'm saying is you can't put...
I'm glad just to drop this conversation because all we're doing is...
I think you misunderstand what I'm saying, bro. Like, you cannot put McLendon, Curtis, or Wagner on the practice squad, period. Like, if you do that, they're going to get poached.
All right, sure.
The rule doesn't protect them.
Sure, I mean, they do. We did it last year to numerous people. So why can't we do it this year? What rule changed that we can't do it this year that we were able to do it last year? So I'd like to know what rule that got changed from then till now.
It's there in black and white. It tells you cannot.
All right, dude. Let's just move on from it. I'm not gonna. This is talking about again. I'm not gonna keep going over it.
Yeah, because I initially thought that you can protect a player the whole year, but it doesn't work like that because it says in order to be used, they had to be part of the 53-man roster first.
All right.
Like I'll find the whole article. I think that's.
I'm not worried about it. Ray, you want to speak on one of your topics, Ray? You want to speak on Jimmy or what?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So the topic about how Jimmy G is supposed to be our guy here, you know. All right. So, as we know, Jimmy G is our starting quarterback, as we all know. And I think we all know that, you know, losing Carr was, you know, one of our main guys. He was the sole factor of our team. And, you know, we feel like, you know, as a leader, Carr was been there through the thick and thin, you know, when we were losing, when we were winning, you know, leading us to game-winning drives and stuff like that. He was like our leader. And so I believe that if Jimmy wants, you know, obviously Carr's not here. So obviously I wanted to say that if Jimmy G can lead this team and be our starting quarterback and stay healthy, be the guy that we, you know, need, be our Derek Carr that, you know, that can be through the thick and thin, but obviously win games and stuff like that. He has potential, you know, lead the team. I think he could be a true leader. And Jimmy G has even stated saying that he wants to prove that he's proven that he wants to be the leader of this team. And Josh and Ziegler are there to, you know, stand by. As you know, in New England too, when Brady was suspended, he came in and led the team and won 2 games. And then obviously he went out with an injury. But the thing is that he was being successful in Josh's system, and which obviously they're going to do the same thing this year. It's just, I think, like, it's going to come down to him being healthy. If he's healthy, I think this team wins most of their games. And that's the thing, because I believe Jimmy G is a great quarterback that listens to the coordinator, listens and understands. It's kind of like how Jarrett Stidham last year, when we all talked about how Jarrett knew the system so well and was able to, you know, teach it to upon other players and how they play. And that's how, you know, Jarrett did a great game against San Francisco last year. had. I mean, he didn't do well against Kansas City, but against the number one defense, he put up over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and played flawlessly. Um, so that's the thing, dude. With Jimmy, I think like there's full on trust. I believe like if we just trust him, and he ends up being that guy that we need that can lead the offense. I think I'm all for it. Jimmy Jimmy's shown glimpses of trying to work in a team. Obviously, in San Francisco, we all know that that team is not really needed a quarterback, considering the fact that their offense is more so of a West Coast power run. They're more so of a team that loves to do not read options, jet sweeps, touch passes, or run off the running back because they always have great offensive line, great depth at wide receiver to do stuff like that. And so they didn't even really utilize Jimmy G. He was just more so the handoff or the check down guy, or maybe the one time he would throw a deep ball. But his talent wasn't really used as he was in New England when he had the chance. So I think now Jimmy's more comfortable. Jimmy's back to what he was before, and overall, I think that he's just gonna ball out. I think like we just gotta as fans, we just gotta put trust in him as much as people put him down for being that. Oh, Jimmy's not that good. Jimmy's not. He's just you traded for another Derek Carr, which in a way it is, but at the same time, Jimmy's shown to be a winning quarterback, and people overshadow him because he's on a good team. But there's a reason why he was the quarterback for a reason, the starting quarterback. So, if there's anything you guys want to say, go ahead.
Or, I mean, what do you think he's going to come in here, and do you think he's just going to play better consistent games than Carr did, or
I think like here's the thing.
Clark, salute AJ?
Yeah, salute. I was gonna say it's just like people say that Derek Carr, when he was taught Josh's system, he kind of like I felt like he didn't. I feel like people are saying that he didn't feel the same, and like I kind of see it in a way because like this Derek Carr, I don't want to say he's like Trey Lance where he's overcoached, but it's like Derek Carr's been through 3 head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, and it's like I feel like his brain is fried because he's like going through so many new offenses, even though like he's been in John's for like the most of the time of his career. But it's just like the fact that, when you put pressure on a guy that just started to learn the new offense, people are gonna start, obviously saying, "Oh, it's him, he's the problem," and stuff like that. So I feel like with Jimmy, like he understands the offense. Like if he's doing well in practice, he showed in that Rams game on that first drive, he looked pretty well in that drive. I think just like overall, I think like I as a fan, I feel more comfortable with Jimmy in the system because he knows what he's doing. And I'm not gonna shit on Carr because Carr just learned the system. But it's like if you want to be a quarterback and you want to excel, it doesn't happen in a year. It doesn't happen in a couple of days. It doesn't happen in months. It takes time. So I believe that Jimmy obviously has been in that system in New England for such a long time. And to go back into it again now and still remember stuff, I think, and play just like how he was, I think like that's a great thing. And that's why I keep like praising Jared Stidham for being one of those guys that are, one of the homework helpers. We used to say that Jarrett was just that guy that just knew the offense, would never get a chance. But then when he gets that chance against San Francisco, letting to know all those plays, he balls out. So I think Jimmy has true potential.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I would say, yeah, certainly from a tendencies standpoint, as far as Jimmy G's tendencies compared to Derek Carr's. I mean, obviously Derek Carr is much more often than not, or more often than Jimmy G, inclined to throw the deep ball. I mean, obviously we saw that success with that relationship he built with Ruggs. Obviously That was a guy who looked to at least, at crucial moments in many games, for at least that, year and a half time he had with Ruggs. Obviously, we saw that last year with Devontae. There were a lot of deep balls thrown Devontae's way when Carr was under center. And Jimmy G, Jimmy G's not like that, and I think that's the kind of quarterback that Josh McDaniels prefers. He's obviously Jimmy G is not a riverboat gambler. I think Josh McDaniels much more wants, he wants the play that he drew up to develop. And obviously a lot of these guys are not running deep, relatively deep routes. That's why he likes to use slot receivers. I think that's still why Hunter Renfrow is on this roster. I think that's why they went out and got Jacoby Myers. So
why they have 5 slot fucking receivers.
Right, exactly. So, and not only that,
if you guys had to pick a player between Adam Butler, Matthew Butler, and Jenkins, who would you guys pick? If you could only pick one of those 3, who would you pick?
What'd you say?
I said probably Matthew.
Who would you pick, Ozzy?
Sorry, what was the question?
Adam Butler, Matthew Butler, or Jenkins? Which one?
Jenkins.
That's who I picked. Who would you pick, Jeff?
I guess Jenkins, just because he's had the most playing time.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think him. I think Matthew Butler is about to get cut.
He's going to be a practice squad.
He's a question
unless
mark.
Someone else picks him up.
Same thing with Britton Brown. Those guys are just like, do they suck? Are they the next coming of, respectively, Reggie White and Jim Brown?
There's something I want to add to that conversation, because I guarantee if those 2 get cut, there's going to be people saying like Ziegler's a bad GM, blah blah, right? But the kind of argument I'm going to make to that right now, before even people start saying that shit, because I can see it coming, is that A, they still had the old fucking scout team in that draft, and B, they didn't have a full offseason to scout anybody.
Don't get me wrong, both of their players, Farrell and Butler, can both be candidates to be out if Young shows up.
And their 5th
Jade, you got Nichols, Tillery. I mean, Farrell and Butler both have to show up still.
Yep, I agree.
But that's why I said, I'm not.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying, I felt like Jenkins was the more proven player out of those 2, because
I agree.
He's had more production in the preseason and in camp so far.
Yeah, and he looked good in that Niners game, I've got to say.
Yeah, and I don't think Matthew might make it back to the practice squad, but I think Matthew might be done, because Adam Butler is probably going to be done. I mean, there's going to be six DTs. I don't know if they're all going to be active at one time. And then you got to remember, you have the rule where you can protect the veteran players. So, if you say, for instance, I don't know, Farrell won't fall under it, but Farrell can still be practice squad just because of being 2-year eligible, not playing X amount of games. Jenkins can get swapped back and forth on to the practice squad just by veteran eligibility. So I don't know. They're not gonna. I think they'll have 6 players, but I think they're gonna run 4 each week. You know what I mean? I don't think you're gonna have 6 active.
Yeah, because I'm saying the way I found the actual article. Hang on a second. This is what I was looking for, because I only took that part of the article, but I'll bring the whole thing up because then it'll make more sense. Because I misinterpreted.
Again, either way, I think that's how they'll run it, because that's the only way that they could. And Jimmy, like I said, I think Jimmy, the only way to answer the question what Jimmy is one, he has to play within the team. He's going to have to be on the fucking squad. He has yet to even play with these dudes. I've said he threw the ball 4 times in the deal and still missed. He was behind on 2 of the passes out of the 4. Underthrew one, damn near threw behind on the other. I mean, like I said, I'm not solidified behind Jimmy in any means. I mean, if Jimmy goes out there and he can play gel with the team over the next, few weeks of the season, because obviously that's the only time he's going to have gel time is in the regular season, then I guess we can talk about him being a leader and all these things. But I mean, I've said it, he's yet to even play with this fucking team, really. I mean, Aiden has had way more play time with the ones than Jimmy has, period. So for him to go out there and I've said it, I don't understand how dudes like Rodgers, Mahomes, Jared Allen fucking played all the way into to the half. They had all kind of players. Watson, they had all kind of dudes all over the preseason that were all fucking starting all the way to halftime. We didn't even play him in the last game, and let alone when we played him in the second game, he only played 1 possession of snaps down the field. And I've said 2 of the snaps, or 2 of his 4 throws, one was underthrown and the other was thrown behind him in a slant vertical play. So for me, like I said, I don't think Jimmy, for me, I think he's going to have to play with the team before I can put anything behind him, period.
Yeah,
so like I said, he's come with defensive teams and the offense is set up over here, but the defense is still going to be the defining factor of it.
Yeah, so it's saying here, like I was saying before, anyone you want to protect.
I know what the rule is, man. I've read it 1,000 times. I mean, I know what the rule is.
The point is they have to be on the 53 roster, though.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Wait, could you scroll up to the paragraph before this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the 4 is about the veteran players. The 6 players that don't need they don't need any certain criteria. This is just any 6 players that can be put on.
Everybody has a criteria, man. Rookie players, second-year players, veteran players that haven't played more than 9 fucking games. I mean, I've read these whole fucking things for years. I mean, the only thing that's been altered is in the COVID fucking time of adding more players to the squad. That's it. So outside of it, everything else has been the same for as long as it's been there for a long time. So
yeah, it says the only rule here is like out of the 6 is that 4 must have no more than 2 occurred seasons. So yeah, so at least 4 players on your 16-man squad have to have at least 4 of them have to have no more than 2 seasons.
I've already, man, we've spoken on this thing long time.
But anyway, the main point I was making is that I initially thought that you could just stash a dude using the protection, but it doesn't work like that. You can't just stash him on the practice. You can't just stash him on the practice squad and protect him. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Because that's what I thought you could do. I thought that's what the loophole was, but no, it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have to see, how teams begin to use this rule, Raiders included, right? Because obviously, the issue of not only the fear of injured players, but the realization of needing players at certain positions to fill certain needs. I think teams are definitely going to benefit from this new protection rule, even if it only is.
Yeah, the only way I can see a loophole is if you're allowed to.
It's not a new rule. I mean, the rule did not just get made this year. Look it up. Show me when that rule was made. I know when the rule was made. I know when it was made. I can tell you everything on that, and I haven't even read one piece of it on this thing. I can tell you how each player was protected, how they get protected, how they were on that list. I've read this deal already a year before.
Yeah, but the point
I'm saying there's nothing that's been changed from last year to this year. And that's why I said the whole time, unless somebody can show something in this conversation that validates some type of move that's been changed from last year to this year, then all we're doing is talking about the same shit. And I hate when we're sitting on our show for 20 minutes talking about the same shit. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, we already know what the rule is. We've seen it since last year. And that's all I'm trying to say is that we're just talking about the same damn shit over and over, man.
A lot of people were saying that you can just protect the player out.
I'm not worried about what other people think. They need to go read the rules then. They need to go get a piece of paper. They need to fucking read it. We don't need to spend 45 minutes of our show to educate them on the fucking rule. If they want to know where the rule is, tell them where the fucking rule is. They can go look it up. I mean, we're just wasting our time to talk about players and shit to educate fucking who? Like, who's other people? I can give a fuck about who other people are. If we bring it up and talk about it for fucking 10 minutes, then let's talk about it for 10 minutes. But when we're carrying on for this fucking deal that's been out for a whole entire year and we're spending 30 fucking minutes on it, it kills shows like that. It just kills shit. Like, motherfuckers don't want to keep hearing the same fucking thing over and over and over and over on it. And that's all I'm saying. Josh Jacobs, same motherfucking way, over and over and over and over and over. Like, people get fucking tired. You know how many fucking deals I get each week that say, like, hey, bro, you know you guys have spoke on fucking Josh, like 50 fucking times? You know you guys are sitting on things and sitting there for a fucking hour on shit that doesn't even fucking matter? Like, that shit's gonna just kill what we do. And that's all I'm trying to say. Like, on this show, we're not here to worry about what other motherfuckers think. If other motherfuckers want to learn it, to show them where they can go read the fucking deal in their own motherfucking time. When we're all sitting here, we all have the idea of where they're at. And if you're learning something when we were talking about it, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they keep carrying on it for knowing that it's been there for a whole year. Like, we can't do that. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not fucking worried about other people. If we were to sit here and worry about that, we'd be educating fucking everybody for hours on hours of the same fucking deal. Like, I hate our shows getting to this point, dude, where we're just dragging on shit that has zero fucking meaning. Like, we know the protections. We know how they're on there. We know that there's many of them on there. If we didn't know that 4 people are protected and released back every single Monday, then fine, that's great, dude. We know it now. So outside of that, if other motherfuckers didn't know, y'all motherfuckers know now. So can we move on to something else?
Yes. Why don't we? Thank you, Ozzy, for trying to.
It ain't nothing against it. Or what you're saying, Ozzy. I have nothing, so don't take it the wrong way. I'm just saying, like, we're not here to fucking worry about people on stupid ass shit. You know what I mean?
I'm saying McLendon, Coase, and Wagner have to be on the roster because otherwise they're going to get poached.
They're going to get moved back and forth the same way other players got moved, like Matthew Butler and fucking and Farrell and so on did it all year last year, and people didn't poach them. It's not going to work like that. So, again, people can have those theories and thoughts, dude, but we transferred back and forth fucking damn near every main dude we had. What did we lose? 1 dude? I think we lost 1 receiver. So that's the risk you take. That's what you take, man. So I'm not talking about what ifs. If he's there, that's just the fucking chance they take. That's their problem.
So moving on. Why don't we just go around the panel and give, I don't know, let's say 3 guys that we definitely think between now and obviously the deadline of tomorrow for roster cuts, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Let's all give 3 guys who are still on the roster who we think are going to get cut. Dustin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Dustin.
You can go, Ozzy. I'm gonna have to look, man. So are we saying that 3 dudes on the roster right now that'll be?
Well, it's easy. Hearn is first on my list of cuts. That guy's a bum.
Who? Did he say Hearn?
Yeah. Hearn.
I mean, fuck, that's easy bait right there. Fuck it.
That's like an easy one. Jake Shelley's on the bubble. He could be cut.
He's on my list. That fool out of here, man.
Ike Brown played like shit in preseason. I didn't see anything.
Didn't he get released already? Wasn't he one of the cuts from yesterday?
Yeah, he got smoked on, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know why Hearn ain't been released because Hearn got beat on worse than Ike Brown did.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm surprised. I thought Ike Brown was in the team. If fucking Hearn's still on the team. But anyway, let me think of someone else. And probably, I had to look at. Hang on, I'm gonna have to pull out the roster and see who's still on it. Just give me a sec. Yeah. We had cuts yesterday. I haven't really looked at it yet, so there's a time zone difference. Oh, But yeah, it's easy Hearn if he's on there. He's definitely number one. So let me see who else there is. Oh, shit. Where's that fucker's the roster, motherfucker?
Man, I'm gonna say Cole.
Yeah, Cole will get cut because I definitely take Wilkinson or
Haran's getting cut. Haran's getting cut. That fool's trash, bro. He has to get
agreed,
cut.
yeah,
Barnes got to get cut. Barnes got to go.
Bars is iffy
Haran's
for
got to
me.
go.
Bars iffy for me because it's like I don't know, man. He might be the backup guard. He's definitely not the starter. I say Greg Van Rotten's the starter.
I think the Van Rotten's going to be the starter, is what I think.
I've been saying that all along.
I think Curtis will back him up, dude. I think Curtis and
yeah, Curtis. Yeah, because like I said, you have to keep.
I mean, you got Curtis, you got a Lunor that can move in. You have Munford that can take over right tackle. I mean, Wagner can back him up. I mean, I think if you have Bars on there, you're just adding too many more pieces, too many rotating pieces, and he's garbage in pass. So I think Curtis can offer. I think Curtis can offer the backup what Bars can do.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another cut is going to be Nathan Moody. He's going to get cut.
I think Moody's going to get cut too. Yeah, I think he's going to get cut too.
Jordan Meredith.
I said that after that Rams game. After that Rams game, you can tell that fool just doesn't have what it takes to get outside.
Dude, I literally made a video where he almost got Zamir White tackled in the backfield. Was lucky to get 1 yard out of it because he fucking lost.
I think Shelley Long. I think Shelley and Long are going to get cut. I think Johnson's going to get cut. I think Grant's going to get cut. I think fucking man, you know, there's part of me that thinks Bolton's going to get cut too because Bernie can be the special teams player that Bolton
that dude that we just signed back, that Kanai Maga, I think he's probably going to be cut. I think they brought him back as just for
the middle line. He's a linebacker. So I don't know. I think he just got brought back for Cam, but I don't think he did anything in that game. He didn't even look good.
Yeah, he's cut. He's going to go to.
And then Darian Butler's on the IR, so.
Yeah, because my linebackers. Hang on, I need to check in my linebackers again. I know. Yeah, so my linebackers is Spillane, Diablo, Masterson, Bernie, and Thomas.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be so upset if Kuntz is cut tomorrow, man.
Me too. I don't see
why. I have a feeling Kuntz can be cut because I think when you're looking at Rochelle, Plant has a really good upside to him, dude. He's already showing up.
The hardest one for me is going to be Sincere McCormick.
I think he gets the job. I think he beats out Bolden. What are you saying about him?
Yeah, I guess he could.
I think I got Sincere over. I got it. Josh, Zeus, Amir, and Sincere. Because Bolden's old, dude, and he fucking might know.
Yeah,
he might know. You release Sincere out of this motherfucking squad, bro. Someone is gonna take that motherfucker for sure.
Yeah, because the thing is, to me, it was between him and Damian Williams.
Sincere, man, will fucking ball out, bro. Damian Williams is old, dude. These guys are old. Sincere showed that he can catch in the open. He showed that he can take on competition. He's fucking young, dude. He got his whole career. Williams is at the end, dude. He's 31 years old. Fucking Bolden, 34. Sincere got to get this job, dude. I think Sincere showed enough to me. He can play in and out of traffic, dude, and catch. He got 2 touchdowns in the first game. So I don't know, man. I would put Sincere over Bolden for me.
Yeah,
man.
I hope that's what they do. I hope they take the young guy over the veteran, but we'll see.
I know that they want to put Bolden there. I mean, I know that they do, but I don't care. I'm a vote for Sincere. I think Sincere can most definitely do it.
But that's what I was saying. To me, if it happened, most surprising one would be Sincere for me. If they do end up doing that, I hope they don't, though.
Yeah, I think it'd be bad business to cut Sincere and keep Bolden, dude. That's fucking old. I think that'd be bad business. And it's just like I've said with Hoyer. What is Hoyer teaching anybody if Aiden's playing at a better level than Hoyer is, and he's been in the system for fucking 10 years? That's all I try to say is in those deals, I think it's irrelevant when the player already exceeds the teacher, and from here, all it is him going to be learning. And I'm pretty sure Aiden can learn by watching what they're doing on the field and listening in the headset and all those things. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think what's Bolden prove for us. Like, what does Bolden do for us? Sincere is power back, scat back, dude. Like, I think Sincere offers way more for our team than Bolden sitting on the sideline. Like, look it up and see if I'm wrong. How many times did Bolden play last year? How many carries did he have?
Not that many. No.
Like, he probably didn't have very many at all.
Bolden?
Yeah, how many?
He had some. He did play a bit.
Oh, I know he had some, but what's some? 10?
Probably. I think it was a bit more than that.
He couldn't have more than fucking Zamir. Zamir was the fourth dude on there at 17 deals. So Bolden had to have 5 or 10 somewhere in there. He can't have too many.
He had 17 last year.
So he tied with him?
Yeah,
he tied with
17
him?
for 66. Yeah, he tied with him, yeah.
Yeah, for 66 yards, dude. I mean, I think Sincere is just going to have better production, better deal over it, in my opinion. I mean,
I agree. That's why I said it's between Damien Williams and Sincere. And I just hope they go with the young guy over. Even though I put Damien Williams in my roster, I just hope they go with the young guy. I just have a feeling that this regime likes veterans.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to go with Williams because of his one fucking cut play up there versus what Sincere did in the first game against the Niners, that'd be crazy as hell. Like, we're going to take a guy because of his one cut in the play. I mean, Sincere went over there in that Niners game and fucked up on both running and passing. So I don't know if I'd go like that. It's kind of like I have with the Sims. It's kind of like I have with everybody talking about Sims. Like, people are like, yeah, but did you see the catch that Sims? Well, are you neglecting that fucking Wilkerson fucking caught 8 plays to get him down to the fucking end zone to get that catch to begin with? Like, that's the kind of shit I'm not understanding is we're just going to give credit to the dude that only had to go 10 or 12 yards, one catch over there versus the dude that just went the whole entire damn field. Like, I don't get that shit, dude. Like I said, if we were to pull up Robert Gallery's numbers, is that how you say it, Robert
Tillery? No.
No, it's the fucking dude for the Cowboys. Fucking
Michael Gallup?
Yeah, Michael Gallup, dude. If you pull up his shit and look at it, I think they said it was like 39 for 495 and 4 touchdowns or something like that. And I'm saying, like, when you look at what he did in the preseason, the way that they fed him just in 3 games at a 23-year-old kid has really good production. And then if you go put him out, and put him out as a 5th or even see the problem with that. See, that's why I say we got too much depth going on here. Because you put him on the fucking practice squad, someone's gonna swipe his ass too. Like, that's the problem that we have here. We got just way too much depth motherfuckers here that are gonna end up getting stolen.
That's a good problem, isn't it?
You can put Shelly over there, fucking. I don't think anybody. Jeff, we're gonna end this in fucking. If you're getting up at 9 or 12, we gotta end it here in 12 minutes. I just got called. I gotta go over here to this field. So.
Okay. All right. Not a problem.
Yeah. Whatever. Just end it or put the deal whenever you're gonna hop off. But I'm gonna head over this hill. So if it cuts off, make sure you end it, dude. Because if it cuts off, I can't get back on.
Right. Okay.
But long story short is fuck, what were we just saying? I don't know. Like, who do you think in the receivers? Do you think Cole Dorsett? Like, who do you think's gonna stay? So, do you think any of them stay or no?
Nah, I think my 6 is. Hang on a second. I just updating it. My 6 is obviously Adams, Jacoby, Renfro, Carter, Tucker, and Wilkinson.
That's been mine from the get-go.
Yeah, it's pretty much been mine since I saw Christian Wilkinson kind of show up in that 49ers game. He's pretty much been pretty consistent. He's been consistent all preseason, and he's the most targeted wide receiver for the Raiders all preseason. from both Jimmy, Aiden, Hoyer, all
I
of them.
think Carter shows massive explosion.
Yeah,
in the fucking special teams. Tucker shows you he has a lot of upside, dude.
Yeah,
that
bro. People, I hate the fact that people are talking about. Sorry to interrupt, but I hate the way people are talking about Tucker dropping balls and shit like that. Even though he's a fucking rookie, man, and people don't like. I see. The thing is, sometimes I have a good memory of shit, sometimes I don't. But I fucking strongly remember people talking the same shit on Ruggs, man. When we drafted Ruggs and he was dropping some bullshit, the same shit about Ruggs.
Tucker gaps people better than most people can. Period. And that's hard as fuck to do. So Tucker can drop a few, dude. I mean, Tyreek Hill fucking didn't catch shit in his fucking rookie year. So, like I said, he can go drop a few. But the ones that he's going to get by and get, boy, he's going to be dangerous. I mean, look at the Aiden throw when he threw to the right side of the field, dude, and dotted on him. And the second fucking one when he missed the first one. He might miss one, but his second one going to be just as big, if not bigger, than the first one. So that's the thing about Aiden Tucker is he's fucking dangerous, man. And he shows that he could get his the catching down. So I don't. He's got Edgar Bennett, dude, gonna teach him. I think he's gonna be just
Sorry.
fine.
Just wanted to update something. Turn the volume down. Sorry, man. Because I realized I made a mistake in my roster when I updated it last night at work because it was like midnight when I did it. I forgot to put sincere on there.
The one thing that I would
if other people go, Jeff.
Well, I was just gonna say, right off the top of my head, I mean, looking at this roster, wide receivers do not come to mind at first when thinking about who they're gonna cut. Obviously, Hunter Renfrow is gonna stay. DeAndre Carter, is probably going to be their, return specialist. Maybe Keelan Cole just based off of last year, but I think he showed enough in the preseason to show that he's at least competent. And in 2021, I believe, it was either that or 2020. He had a pretty good year, like I think a 600-yard receiving season. So I think the talent is there. I mean, obviously he had a horrible year last year, but maybe they think there's enough there to keep him around. Like we said earlier, Christian Wilkerson, he's been playing too well, I think, to deny him a roster spot. Other guy, obviously, like Trey Tucker, he's definitely fine. Jacoby Myers is fine. It comes down to basically maybe Philip Dorsett or Cam Sims. But obviously, Philip Dorsett is supposed to be their deep threat, which obviously, is important. It's a special kind of receiver that I think they might need. And we've also heard it coming out of training camp that, Jimmy has been able to connect with him. I think against the Rams, he threw a 70-yard touchdown to him. So, I think there might be value there too. I would say, if I'm right off the top of my head, as far as cuts go, I'm looking at tight ends. I'm thinking of Schenker. And I hate to say it, especially on your behalf, Ozzy, but I think Fotheringham might get cut.
He's not going to get cut, dude, because Horsted is on IR.
Yeah,
Horsted's on IR. He's not getting cut.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they might just keep him. But the other thing to consider is that you can also, as long as you pass through waivers, you can sign him back to the practice squad. Daniel sounds like to use a lot of tight ends, so it probably would boil down to whether or not they want to, occupy a roster spot with Fotheringham, or they want to keep, put him on the practice squad like they did last year, if I remember correctly.
I think we keep 3 on the roster.
Oh yeah, well 3, yeah. I mean Hooper, Michael Mayer, obviously, and then Horsted.
No, obviously. I think Fotheringham's better than Horsted.
I mean. You might like I said, it could very well be that as the season goes on, let's say to start the season, Fotheringham is on the practice squad, Horsted is with the the varsity team, and he's not cutting it. Then maybe you release Horsted because Horsted's only on a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, Horsted's production hasn't been that much in the NFL period, And the thing is, he didn't even look that great last game.
My shit's probably going to cut off right here, just so you know, man. Just so you know.
Because in all
Okay.
honesty, in that last game where we played, like the only time you've even seen Horsehead do much of anything was in that last game, and like, yeah, that's like the last game of the season when most of the bottom end of teams are out there.
I put Fotheringham in over Horsted. Horsted hasn't done
Yeah,
anything for any team, not us,
if
not
you,
Bears, not anybody. So I mean,
exactly.
Fotheringham had a pretty damn good game in that one, and for the blocker and the build of him,
And the,
I mean, I'm gonna favor him. But again, Horsted's on IR, so I think Fotheringham will get the spot right now. But like Jeff said, he probably could get reverted back if they feel like Horsted is their guy. That Horsted deal is weird to me because the guy has never done nothing, so it's weird as fuck that they'll hold on to a guy so much that has yet to do anything.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's no reason why you have to use a roster spot on either one of if one stays on the practice squad, then the other one can take up a roster spot. But obviously the rules are that you have to get the official roster down to 53. So it's sort of semantics at this point, but yeah, I do agree that based on what we've seen from preseason, Fotheringham looks more valuable than Horsted.
yeah, if you look at the Niners game, and the other thing you got to consider with that is you haven't seen much of Fotheringham since the Niners game, so I think he's already locked in all honesty.
Yeah,
because he hasn't really been on the field since that Niners game, since Aiden Connell kind of put the spotlight on him.
Yeah, and I mean, who exactly knows if that's going to carry over into the regular season, right? That's a big question in and of itself. So
I agree, but he's going to be the third guy. So, and the thing is, Fotheringham can block as well, and he's only going to be the third guy behind Mayer and Hooper. I think Mayer's going to actually win the starting job. I think it's going to be Mayer, then Hooper, then Fotheringham. And if it depends on which way Fotheringham goes, but Fotheringham could end up shining and taking the number 2 spot, depending how he's utilized. But we'll see.
Right, and McGann's is probably going to use a lot of double tight, a lot of 2 tight ends on the field.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to have at least 3 on there because you need another, in case someone goes down, you need another guy ready to step in on game day.
Right. Yeah. So, but I think we're all in agreement that Shanker is probably not long for this world. I mean, like I said, practice squad's a different story. So
yeah, Shanker's probably. I got him practice squad if he clears waivers.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, probably him. Let's see, and then beyond that, I would probably. I mean, Justin Herron. If it's me, I want nothing to do with him. I actually feel stupid because I remember it was either last year or the year before. I wanted the Raiders to. I think it was last offseason. I wanted the Raiders to get him. But he's just been horrible. I mean, maybe he's out of position right now. Thank God we have somebody else to play left tackle. Because I've just been, I've gotten fed up with his play. So, but he's a New England guy. So,
you mean Jermaine Illuminor?
No, I'm talking about Herron.
Oh, Herron, yeah, Herron's cut. Like that dude's gone.
Well, so I would prefer that.
I think Wagner's gonna be better than him. I think also you got other guys that can play tackle. Like Jermaine can play at either tackle spot, and then you got Greg Van Roten can play anywhere in the interior. Like he can play left guard, center, right guard. So if something happens to say left tackle, you can just shift Illuminor over there and bring in Munford at right tackle, kind of thing. So. If anything, Illuminor played better at left tackle this preseason than he did bloody right tackle in the regular season last year. So,
yeah, I mean, and then so beyond that, it probably just come down to defense as far as cuts go, and yeah, I mean, probably nothing too surprising here. I wouldn't be surprised if Tarlis gets cut. Like I said, I mean, Nesta's probably fine just because
I
we
don't think
drafted.
I don't even have Talis making the practice squad. I just didn't see enough because I feel like we're gonna sign players from other teams. So I literally okay, my practice squad is this. I'll just read it out quickly. Adam Plant, Matthew Butler, Neil Farrell Jr. If they Tyler Hall, that Kanai Magna. They obviously like him. They brought him back, and then for the thing, so they might bring him back to the practice squad if he clears waivers. Chase Garbers if he clears waivers. They might bring back that other linebacker they brought in, Isaac. Fuck his last name, man. Isaac Darkangelo. I think say it. Cam Sims, Haran Grusso, Samuel, the tight end you were just talking about, and
Yeah.
and if we only keep this is if we keep 4 safeties. If we keep 5, he's going to make the team, but that's Isaiah Holomau. Only if we keep 4 safeties. It depends how we structure it because I got 24, I think, on offense and 26 on defense already. So if I was to put Polamalu and have 5 safeties, I'd probably have to cut a defensive tackle or something where I got 6, or I'd have to cut a linebacker and have 4 instead of 5. So, which if that happens, you're losing Thomas or Bernie. So I'd rather take Thomas or Bernie over Polamalu. So that's kind of like what made it tough for me. I didn't want to cut Polamalu, but it's kind of like, would you cut like Polamalu or would you cut Thomas or Bernie? I'd keep Thomas or Bernie, honestly, over Polamalu. I think they've done more in the preseason than what Polamalu has done when you start looking at it from that perspective. But
yeah. I mean, obviously,
I will say it was a tough cut though. It was tough because I wanted to keep Polamalu. But the only reason I think that happens is because I think Tima might make that last safety spot just because his production on special teams.
Right, yeah, exactly. So that in and of itself is another factor. Like, what kind of?
I mean, Ziegler literally came out and said the more versatile you are, even special teams, yada yada yada. He literally said that on the interview. The guys that are versatile, like Greg Van Roten being left guard, center, right guard. Illuminor, he can play pretty much almost anywhere on the offensive line outside of center, probably. Like guys like that are going to be valued. Over guys that can only play as he said, guys that are specifically good at one position are also valued, but he said in a way that kind of if you're versatile, that's going to add to your value. So I think that, as I gave Tim a lot of shit as well, to be honest, I wanted him cut, I put him Mr. Waterside, this and that. But at the end of the day, I think just because of the fact that he is a good tackler in special teams, he's okay at times. Like sometimes he fucks up at safety when his number is called, but other times he's a bit inconsistent. But then again, he's the 4th guy on the roster, and he might even be lower on the depth chart than that because you've got to have guys at corner that can come into safety as well.
Right.
So really, he's not even though he might be listed as the 4th safety, he might not even technically be the 4th safety. Like you're probably going to pull other guys out of your cornerback room to play safety over him. You might even pull, say, like Sam Webb to play safety over fucking Timo or something like that. You never know. Like, there's so many ways you can do shit. But I think the fact that they want to have a strong special teams unit, I think that I think Polamalu's going to. I mean, sorry, not Polamalu. I think that Roderick Team is going to add to that special teams unit. I'll be right back. All right, bro. So, all right, while we're waiting for Jeff to come back, because I can't have enough like that because I'm going to hop off soon myself. I'll just do a quick rundown of the roster quickly. So quarterbacks, you got Jimmy G and Aiden O'Connell. I know a lot of people are saying Hoyer is going to be on the roster, but I don't think so. I think he might make it on the practice squad possibly. But at some point, it's like, how much does the dude have really left to teach? But we'll see. Then you got at offensive line, you obviously got Miller, left tackle, Dylan Parham, left guard, Andre James, center, Greg Van Roten, right guard, who I've wanted pretty much all along since before even preseason. Jermaine Olimonor at the right tackle / swing tackle. Then you got Daya Mumford as the right tackle number 2. You got McClendon Curtis, guard, and Dalton Wagner tackle. Dalton Wagner is probably back up the left side. McClendon Curtis can probably plug into either guard spot if necessary. It depends if they feel like McClendon Curtis is more of a right guard. They can always swing Rotten over to left and put Curtis in at right guard if Parham's not ready to go or whatever. Like there's ways to work that. Then you got wide receiver. You got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, DeAndre Carter, Trey Tucker, and Christian Wilkinson. If we keep 6, if we keep 5, Wilkinson probably hopefully come back to the practice squad. People give Tucker a lot of shit, man. Like I'll say this quickly: Ruggs had a 60% catch percentage his first year. 1 year with Edgar Bennett, a wide receiving coach, he went up to a 66.7, almost 70% in 1 year. So hold off on the whole drops thing with Tucker. Man, he's a rookie. Give the kid slack. But anyway, with the re-signing of Josh Jacobs, the running back room is now obviously Josh Jacobs is RB1, Zamir White is RB2, Amir Abdullah is going to be RB3 / scat back, third down back kind of player. Then you got Sincere McCormick, and then your fullback Jacob Johnson. So basically, you're going to have 2 kind of like power guys with Jacobs and Samir, and then 2 guys that can probably be like it. Because Sincere, I think, is the future replacement for Amir, but we'll see. Like the way he plays and whatnot, I think he's going to be the future Amir Abdullah type of a player. So you kind of got like a 2 of each kind of a running back if you think about it, like speed-wise, elusiveness, and then 2 power guys. Then you got a tight end. You got Michael Mayer, Cole Fotheringham, and Austin Hooper. To be honest, I'm a big believer that Cole Fotheringham, if things go well and things pan out, he might even beat out Hooper eventually. I mean, I saw Hooper make some stupid-ass mistakes in preseason. I'm not going to lie. Especially that penalty he gave up. It was really dumb. I think that was, in the Rams game. Then you got Trayvon Merrick, Trayvon Merrick, free safety. Marcus Epps, strong safety. Chris Smith will be the free safety number 2, and Roger Tim will be strong safety number 2. I went with 4 just because I need to make space in the cornerback room. If they cut a Mick Robertson, I can see Paul Amel making the team, but I'll get to that in a minute. So cornerback 1 is obviously Marcus Peters. Number 2 is Corey Bennett. Nate Hobbs, slot cornerback. Face on, if he's not injured, is cornerback 4. Sam Webb is cornerback 5. And then if we keep 6, and Mick Robertson makes number 6. Then you got linebacker. You got Robert Spillane, Dwayne Diablo as your starting 2. Then behind them, you got Luke Masterson, Amari Burney, Drake Thomas. And then in your DN spots, you got Crosby, Chandler Jones, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, and then the last spot I gave to Isaac Rochelle. I think they like what they saw in the Niners game because I didn't see much of Rochelle after the Niners game, so maybe they saw enough to say, yep, he's making the team. Then you go over to D tackle. It was hard whether to keep 5 or 6 and keep 10 D-line or 11. They might go with 11. So I went Jerry Tillery, Bilal Nichols, Nestor Jade Severa, Adam Butler, Byron Young, and John Jenkins. Now, depending what they do with the young guys, Nestor or Byron Young might go to the practice squad, but I just don't think they might not do it because I think if you put those guys to waivers, someone else might pick them up for depth on their roster. And then obviously you got special teams with Carlson, kicker, AJ Carpenter, and Jacob Moya as the long snapper. Then for kick punt return, I got DeAndre Carter, Trey Tucker, Amir Abdullah, and Hunter Renfrow. Then you got IR, you got Darian Butler, Jordan Perryman, corner, and then Austin Walter, the running back. Then we also got to keep in mind we got David Agoha. He does not count against the practice squad. He's on what you call the IPP, International Player Program, so he does not count to the practice squad. We also have him on the practice squad as well. So that's pretty much my whole roster there, my main roster there. Then, on the practice squad, I got, Adam Plant, Matthew Butler, Neil Farrell Jr., Tyler Hall, Kanai Maga, Isaac D'Arcangelo, Chase Garbers, Cam Sims, Hornos Grusso, John Samuel Schinker, tight end, and then Zaya Palomar if he clears waivers. That last one was definitely the toughest one for me. He could still make the 53 if we go 5 safeties. I mean, maybe we move on from a Mick Robertson. It all depends. Like, it's so hard with that last spot with Palomar. I hope Palomar does make the team, but we'll see. It was pretty tough because it was kind of between him and Mick Robertson out of the DB room, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, as is the case with, every season and as we approach not only roster cuts, but week 1 of the regular season, we're going to see how it all plays out. We're going to see, what this roster looks like heading into the regular season at on the other side of 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So as always, thank you, Ozzy, for sticking with us this long.
No worries.
Thank you to the rest of the members of this panel who showed up tonight. Thank you to the mods in the chat for holding it down. We wouldn't be able to do this show without you guys. And last but not least, thank you to our viewers for watching along with us and commenting along with us throughout this broadcast. Just a quick reminder before I do let you guys go. As I said at the top of the broadcast, our YouTube chat bot, which is called the Nightbot, has been posting various links related to us here at DSR. Excuse me. So if you guys wouldn't mind just checking out all those links just for a quick second before you leave this broadcast. And if you wouldn't mind tapping in with us on all those various platforms, we do greatly appreciate that. And we do thank you in advance for doing that. Out of all the links that the Nightbot has been sharing, we'd especially like for you guys to check out the link to our DSR Discord server that the Nightbot has been posting throughout the comments section. So we'd especially like for you guys to check out that link just because we really consider it the heart of what we do here at DSR. So if you guys haven't already, if you wouldn't mind at your earliest convenience, just checking the comments section for the link to our Discord server. And if you have a Discord account, if you're already on Discord, if you wouldn't mind following that link and joining us there in that community, we'd love to have you guys. It's as I've always said, it's a great community. It's a great way to bond with a whole bunch of people over a wide variety of topics, not just all things Raiders. Obviously, we do have a Raiders chat. We talk about all things Raiders. We also talk about the NFL at large. We have a general chat. We talk about life in general. We talk about other sports leagues like the NBA, NFL, and NHL. We talk about, we have fantasy leagues, both NBA and NFL. Speaking of which, we're about to draft next week for NFL fantasy leagues, of which we have a whole bunch in that server. So if you guys are looking for a new league, all the more reason to join as quickly as possible. Also, as always, it's a $0 buy-in for all those leagues, and it's a $25 reward to the winner of every league. So 0% risk and 100% profit goes to you guys. So definitely jump in that Discord as soon as possible if you're looking to join fantasy leagues, because obviously it's a great and fun way to compete with people.
Speaking of that, sorry to interrupt. Speaking of that, do you guys know when you're doing your draft yet for the fantasy football?
Dustin said next week, so I'll have to get back to you guys. We'll have to keep you posted.
Just keep me posted on that one, just because of the time difference. That's all.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we will keep you posted.
So I can figure out what time it's going to be at, so to make sure I don't miss out.
Right. Okay. So obviously, once again, this is a great. This is a great reason. Okay. Yeah. So this is a great reason for you guys to tap in on our various other platforms, as our Instagram account, Twitter account, also that Dustin holds, just to stay in the loop as far as all announcements with respect to fantasy, to say nothing of all the other things going on with DSR in and outside of the Discord. But also in the Discord, other than fantasy leagues, we also have promotional events like free giveaways. We have free movie nights. We have channels dedicated to Raiders content creators on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And we have channels dedicated we have channels dedicated to various sports updates throughout various leagues. So if you guys are also able through the Discord server to stay up to date on updates, through various sports leagues going on in multiple different sports throughout the world of sports. So like I said, we'd love for you guys to check us out at that Discord community as well. So if you guys wouldn't mind checking out that comment that the Nightbot posted in the comments section, we would greatly appreciate you guys doing that, and we do thank you in advance for doing that. Other than that, as always, we have we're scheduled to have our next show this coming Wednesday, the 31st, at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So as always, guys, tune in on Wednesday. We're going to obviously be talking about what the roster looks like after all the cuts have been made. to whittle the roster down to 53 men. And so we're going to talk about, gearing up for in this last sort of week before, the week one of the regular season is here. What this team has to do to get ready, obviously not only for the season in general, but for the upcoming week one matchup to kick off the year against the rival Denver Broncos. So, like I said, guys, tune in this Wednesday, August 31st, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Like I said, take a look at all the various links that the Nightbot has posted in the comments section. If you wouldn't mind tapping in with us on all those platforms, especially our Discord community, that would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, Ozzy, was there anything you wanted to say before I end the broadcast for tonight?
Not really. Just give our rookies time to develop. That's about it. Because some people too hard of the rookies sometimes, man.
Facts, yeah, exactly. So obviously we have a very exciting and action-packed season ahead of us. So like I said, guys, buckle in and get ready because it's only going to get more exciting from here on out. So salute Ozzy, salute to all the panel members who were also on here earlier. Salute to the mods in the chat again, and last but not least, salute to our viewers for watching and commenting along with us throughout this broadcast. Check out the comments that the Nightbot has posted with all of our links, and please tap in with all of our platforms, especially the Discord, the link to our Discord, and especially check out our next show, which is going to be Wednesday, August 31st, like I said, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So other than that, salute Ozzy and salute to everyone. Thank you guys for joining me on another great broadcast, and have a great week until Wednesday when we see you guys again.
Yes, super. Thank you.
Salute.